Okay. So I just heard the news about Etika. And first off, the reason why I'm in my car making this video is because I have a bunch of family over right now, and it's like kind of rowdy in my house. So this is just the most silent place to be. So that's why I'm in my car. But yeah, I just heard the news about Etika, and I didn't know him. I didn't really even. I only knew about him a little bit. I've seen a couple of his videos on YouTube. I've seen him reacting to stuff. He's super funny guy, such high energy. Just someone who's like super fun to watch. And to everyone who didn't know him, and to everyone who has been following him for so long and has been watching all of his content for so long, just to everybody who didn't know him, I'm so sorry that this happened, because nobody deserves to go like that, and nobody deserves to feel alone. Nobody. Suicide's a real thing. Suicide is a real thing, and I hate that it's a real thing that people deal with. Because the reason why I hate the fact that suicide is a thing is because I want people to see how valuable they really are. I want people to see how valuable they are, and that's why it hurts me so much when I hear about people taking their own life. Because usually, like, when people take their own life, they don't know their value. And I just want to encourage you guys, please, 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 find somebody today and tell them how much they matter, how valuable they are. Find somebody you know and tell them how much you love them. Find somebody you know and tell them how incredible they are, how good they look today, how amazing at their job that they are. Like, if you work with somebody that you know, like, please tell somebody how amazing and how incredible they are and how valuable they are and how much they are loved and how much they matter. Because people need to know. People need to know how loved they are and how much they're cared for and how much they matter. And I know I'm being redundant, but it's so true. Like, people just need to know. And you know, every person that you walk by every single day is going through something. People are going through things all the time, especially up here. And I want to encourage you guys, you have the chance, sorry, I have an itch on my head. You have the chance to make an impact on somebody's life today. You have a chance to truly save somebody's life just by telling them, hey, you're incredible. I don't know what you're going through right now, but you are amazing. You are just one of a kind. There's none like you on the earth. Because everyone truly is one of a kind. You are the only you. You are. And because you're the only you, you're one of a kind. And because you're one of a kind, you're special. Yesterday, a couple weeks ago, I was kind of like in a weird funk. I was kind of just like out of it, just for like the past couple of weeks, and just like feeling like really weird. Just in terms of like questioning like what I'm supposed to do with my life and like kind of like my calling. And I was at a men's small group with my church yesterday, and one of my friends came up to me and basically just like encouraged me. He just said, hey dude, I just want to let you know that whenever I need to come talk to somebody about somebody, I always think of you, and I just want to come to you, and because you're so easily approachable. And like, he just like said this to me, and like, that's not really something that like I think about myself, like, honestly, but like he just encouraged me and just told me, he like literally said, he was like, dude, like, I don't know where I'd be without you, bro. And because I know some conversations I've had with them, I'm like friends with them, but I'm like, I'm one of those, it's like one of those friends where like you're friends with them, but like you've only had like maybe like a couple conversations with them, but you consider yourself friends. But I would have never known that me just being myself would have had an impact on somebody's life. And that was really encouraging to me and actually really uplifted my spirit. And please just tell somebody that they're loved and that you love them. And so I just feel the need right now. I'm going to actually kind of share my faith with you. And just because I am a Christian, and I would not be where I'm at, honestly, if it wasn't for my relationship with Jesus. I would not be anywhere I'm at right now if it wasn't for my relationship with God. I'll tell you this story another time if you want to know kind of my testimony, but I literally should have died at like 2 years old, and my dog saved my life. And I'll tell you again, if you want to know that story, I'll let you know another time for sure. But I would not be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for my relationship with Christ. And there seems to be this misconception on Christianity where we have this misconception of Jesus where we see him as kind of this person who like comes and knocks at our door and says, "Hey, follow me or you're go to hell," essentially. Like, but that's not Jesus at all. God sends his son Jesus, John 3:16. Even if you don't have any faith whatsoever, I'm sure you've heard the verse. If you're not a Christian, I'm sure you've heard the verse before. But God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. And so he's a loving God. He sends his son Jesus to take our sin. And there's this verse it's 2 Corinthians 5. It's talking about Jesus. He who knew no sin became sin so that I might become the righteousness of God. And so Jesus comes, and you read about Jesus in the Gospels, and he's loving, he's forgiving people in their sin. He's showing nothing but love. He's performing miracles, and in the end, a lot of people choose to crucify him and kill him. And what's amazing about the story is because we're all born into sin. You know, we Adam and Eve, the first two people who ever sinned, brought this sin into the world. And so because of that original sin, we're all born into sin. And there's no way, in the Old Testament, there was, there's these high priests, and there's all these like laws that were made that we had, in the Old Testament that you had to follow every day, daily. There's 613 and 10 laws in the Old Testament, and in order to be right with God, you had to follow by each and every one of these laws daily and not break a single one. And nobody could do it. It is impossible. And it was faith by works, essentially. And so what's so amazing about Jesus is Jesus comes, he's fully man, he's fully God, comes onto the earth and walks out the law completely. Walks it out, does not sin at all. And what he does is he's on the cross, and that verse in 2 Corinthians says, he who knew no sin became sin. Because he's fully God, the only way for sin to be wiped out is if it takes an eternal sacrifice. Something eternal has to take the place of sin that is also eternal. And Jesus, and I'm sorry, I'm not very good at like making these videos, so I'm trying the best that I can. But Jesus hangs on the cross, takes our sin because he's fully God as well as fully man. And the wrath of God that was supposed to be poured out on us, because we're born into sin, so we don't deserve the love that God gives us. We don't deserve heaven, but the love of God, the wrath of God was supposed to pour out on us, and it pours out on Jesus. Because Jesus takes our sin And so the wrath of God pours out on Jesus. Jesus takes our sin, dies for our sins, completely making us clean of our sin because he took our sin, so he makes us clean of sin. And then 3 days later, Jesus rises again from death, conquers death, rises again because, again, he's fully God. And what's so powerful about just Jesus in general is that he takes our sin completely, and he does not see us as sinful anymore because he took our sin. He sees you as pure and beautiful. If you want to read an amazing book of the Bible, Song of Solomon is a great one. Song of Solomon 4. Take it. It's so in context. It's the king speaking to his bride. But if you look at it, it's actually in a greater perspective, in a greater lens, it's King Jesus speaking to the bride of Christ, which is us. And he said, especially Song of Solomon 4, he's talking about how beautiful the bride is, and uses just really detailed imagery of how beautiful the bride is. And there's a verse in Song of Solomon 4 that says, "You're altogether lovely, there is no flaw in you." And so I want to let you guys know that if you think that you've messed up, if you think that you're too far gone, you are never too far gone to be made new. You're never too far gone to be made new. And I just want to challenge you. If you're somebody who has had a misconception about Christianity, I challenge you to just ask God, God, if you're real, please show me. Show me. And I promise you that he will. And it might not be in the timing that you want, like right in that instant, but I promise you that he will, because he's a good God. He really is. I challenge you to just to look at the life of Jesus and look at who he is. And if you've never accepted Jesus into your heart, I challenge you, please. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. The only reason why I'm so happy all the time is because of Jesus. And I don't know where I'd be, honestly, without him. You're never too far gone to be made new. You're never too far gone to be made new. If you're somebody who's watching this, if you find this video somewhere and you're watching this and you are somebody who is dealing with depression and suicidal thoughts, please, please, please. It's okay to talk to somebody about it. It really is. It's okay to talk to God about it. It really is. And I'm here for you too. I really am. I don't have Discord, but I'm setting it up. So I will set up Discord for sure. I'm getting that set up soon, but for real. Find me on Instagram. It's in my About section. Please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you more about my faith for sure. And because it's a lot to just put in this video, but I want to say, please encourage somebody today. Please tell them how much they're loved, and please, I challenge you to really take Jesus seriously and to accept him for sure, because he's the best thing that will ever happen to you. And spreading the love of Christ, that is my mission above anything else, no matter what I'm doing with my life, whether I'm just like doing YouTube for fun, or I'm working at the airport, that's where I work, or just whatever I'm doing. It's my mission in my life is to share Jesus, and because he really is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me and to the world. And it's okay to dislike this video, like, for real. It really is, like, I get it. Please tell somebody that you love them. And again, you're never too, I know I'm being redundant, but I cannot stress it enough. You're never too far to be made new. There is no sin that Jesus has not forgiven you of. There is no sin that Jesus has not forgiven you of. He's forgiven you of every single thing that you've ever done, that you ever might do in the future, that you might think is messed up and that might be morally wrong. But for real, Jesus forgives you of everything. God's a loving God. He really is. And Etika, like, God loves Etika, man. He does. And again, it's hard to see this happen. So again, rest in peace, Etika, for real. And please, again, tell somebody that you love them today. Please. That's it. God bless you guys.